From our fellow Catholics, best wishes. We are delighted to have you return to our channel. I hope you have a wonderful day in Christ. In order to keep up with the most recent information, we hope you enjoy this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Take a trip with us and watch this film through to the conclusion. Father Petar had a moment in Medjugorje's calm yet spiritually charged atmosphere that would forever change his life. Only a few white clouds drifted gently in the deep, calm blue sky above, perhaps under the guidance of an invisible hand. Father Petar was walking on a gravel path toward the apparition's hallowed location when he couldn't help but detect the aroma of roses, which is frequently connected to the Virgin Mary's presence. This was not a typical day. Rather, it was a time that would deliver a message that would rock the globe to its core. There was a tangible vibration in the air as Father Petar got closer to the location where so many people had encountered the supernatural. He wasn't the only one who recognized the moment's importance. A few other pious Christians had also assembled, heads bowed in prayer, emotions full of a mix of hope and terror. A precursor to the momentous experience that was about to take place, the tension was almost palpable. Father Petar closed his eyes and joined in the whispered prayers of his neighbors. He had an overwhelming presence almost instantly, a warmth that started in his chest and moved throughout his entire body. And then he heard it, a voice, gentle but firm, like a wind-borne whisper, with a message of caution and hope. It was the voice of the Virgin Mary. Father Petar was suddenly taken to a vision, a sight of the future so clear and intense that it left him gasping for air. Like fire on stone, the message of the Virgin Mary left its mark on his heart. She talked of huge things that were coming up, things that would put the planet to the ultimate test. She claimed that the world was at a turning point and that change was unavoidable. She told him, however, that those who prepared spiritually and trusted her protection would find solace in their faith, even in the face of the difficulties ahead. Father Petar found great resonance in every word said by the Virgin Mary. His thoughts were filled with visions of faraway places: Mexico, with its beaches bathed in sunlight; Colombia, with its stunning mountains; Spain, with its busy streets; Venezuela, with its colorful scenery; Costa Rica, with its verdant surroundings; and Argentina, with its wide-open spaces. Natural catastrophes, social upheavals, and difficulties that would put society's foundation to the test were all going to occur at each of these locations. As she went on, the Virgin Mary's voice remained serious. She provided hope while cautioning that these countries would encounter severe hardships. She claimed that those who truly believed that she would protect them would find solace in their religion. Those who sought her counsel would find comfort in her embrace, which would serve as a safe haven in the impending storm. Father Petar felt a sense of urgency as the vision came to an end, and he was brought back to the present. The message he had heard was one that needed to be shared with the world, not kept to himself. Images of rivers overflowing their banks, gloomy skies over once bright towns, and the thunderous rumble of thunder resonating across the mountains flooded his head. But in the middle of all of this chaos, he also saw a golden light, a ray of hope, shining down on people who prayed fervently and steadfastly, encased in the imperceptible yet potent embrace of divine love. Father Petar understood he needed to do something. When he returned to his church, he assembled his congregants and delivered the word he had received in a voice full of the power of divine inspiration. Many others were unable to contain their tears as the cathedral was filled with intense emotion. Even though the idea of such terrible things happening was horrifying, the Virgin Mary's message gave them hope and an unavoidable summons to deepen their faith. Father Petar pushed, his eyes bright with conviction. We must prepare. We have been guided by the Virgin. We must come together as one family under God, transcend racial, religious, and national boundaries, and join together in prayer. It's time to put aside our differences and celebrate our humanity as a species. Everyone in attendance found resonance in these statements. There was a new spirit in the room after the call to prayer and unity, a sense of empowerment that swept over the assembly like a wave of clear, pure fire. The message was clear. Only by working together and having unflinching faith would the world be able to change. The recitation of the Holy Rosary was essential to this spiritual movement. What started out as a straightforward prayer thread has evolved into a potent representation of hope and resistance, invoking the power and protection required to erect a wall of faith against the darkness that threatens to consume the earth. People from all walks of life gathered in this prayer around the world. Saint Michael the Archangel became a vital bulwark against the forces of evil at this period of world turmoil. The message from the Virgin Mary was clear. Relying on Saint Michael's protection was crucial to fending off the evil forces who aimed to create discord and devastation. As a spiritual rite that strengthened the connection between the faithful and the divine, the dedication of families and homes to Saint Michael swiftly spread across society. With its regular cadence, the prayer to Saint Michael became a daily routine in households all throughout the world, indicating the hours and days. His formidable, armed figure served as a symbol of the fight against evil, and a ray of hope that helped people get through their worst moments. The words of consecration spread like wildfire, uniting people in a vast, invisible network of light and love, Father Petar said, emphasizing that faith was the most powerful weapon accessible to the faithful. The indications of the New Age started to appear over time. In Mexico, long dormant volcanoes released lava rivers, causing the ground to tremor beneath people's feet. Unrelenting rains in Colombia turned entire villages into lakes, putting the people's fortitude and faith to the test. Cities in Spain were ripped apart by tensions that seemed insurmountable as a result of social unrest. The economic crisis cast a long shadow over Venezuela, yet the country's religious fervor remained stronger than ever. With their hands clasped in prayer and their voices joining in the recitation of the rosary that reverberated throughout the streets, churches were bursting with people. Normally a haven of calm, Costa Rica was rocked by unparalleled upheaval, but the people responded with love and solidarity, congregating under the Virgin Mary's protective wing. Political differences in Argentina, meantime, posed a threat to the country's unity. But like an underground stream that fed hope for a better future, the message of faith and solidarity made its way past every obstacle. The Virgin Mary's message stayed constant and unambiguous throughout these difficulties. You are not alone. Even in your darkest hours, God is always with you. Father Petar stressed that faith and love are necessary to prepare for eternity, because worldly life is short and only a step on the way to it. He believed that the power of prayer and group action had the capacity to change the world, and that hope was the key to overcoming any hardship. He clarified that this spiritual metamorphosis was a shared experience rather than merely an individual one. It requires teamwork, a return to the gospel's central principles, and a dedication to leading lives characterized by compassion, kindness, and charity. The call of the Virgin Mary was an appeal to put aside differences, rediscover the value of community, and cooperate for the benefit of all. Father Petar persisted in his duty to disseminate the Virgin's message despite the world's turmoil. His teachings were a ray of optimism wherever he went, encouraging listeners to grow in their faith and get involved in their communities. Father Petar heard tales of extraordinary bravery and faith in each town and city he visited. They were accounts of a humanity that, in the face of overwhelming odds, refused to let hardship win. A mother in Mexico described how she had been able to shield her family throughout a severe earthquake by using faith and prayer. Driven by a strong desire to serve others and emulate Christ, a group of young people in Colombia worked tirelessly to offer relief to towns devastated by floods. Thanks to the efforts of a small but resolute group of believers who had made a commitment to putting aside their differences and cooperating for the common good, a church in Spain that had been destroyed by social strife was transformed into a symbol of peace and harmony. Despite the dire economic conditions, Venezuelans came up with creative methods to help one another, transforming the catastrophe into a chance to deepen ties within the community. Every day, people in Costa Rica met for prayer, asking for divine protection and looking for ways to support the peace and security of their nation. Families in Argentina also dedicated themselves to Saint Michael, finding courage and protection in their strong religious beliefs. It was true that the world and its inhabitants were changing. People were joining together in a common prayer of love and hope as the spiritual transformation wave swept throughout the nation. Faith was the glue that kept everything together, the unseen thread that bound each person to something far bigger and stronger than themselves. The message of the Virgin Mary was clear. Those who prepare spiritually and come together in prayer and action to meet the problems of the future will have the future. Every person has the capacity to change the world by kindling a faith that, when kindled, can lead people through their worst moments and toward a more promising future. Father Petar persisted in his work, despite the passing of the days and the ongoing global fulfillment of the prophecies. His thoughts were constantly filled with the words of the Virgin Mary, which served as a reminder of the holy task that had been assigned to him. He was aware that he was not alone, even though the journey was challenging. Millions of people were joining together in prayer and group action all across the world in response to the Virgin's appeal. Churches were packed with believers, communities came together to overcome obstacles, and the strength of faith and solidarity healed divisions. Although Father Petar's trip was far from complete, he brought with him the power of faith, the brightness of hope, and the unshakable belief that the world might be changed for the better through spiritual preparation and togetherness. I appreciate you joining me on this adventure. This investigation is significant and powerful because of your participation and presence. May the shared tales of our human experience inspire and uplift you until the next time.